Hey guys, welcome back to another video on a lovely, what doesn't look like rain to you guys, but it's raining. I vowed that I'd never do anything in the rain again, and I'm changing brakes in the rain. It can't be that hard of a job, can it? Right, anyway, this is where we're up to, and I'll show you the brakes that we're installing very, very soon. Sorry about the lighting. The wheel is off, the car is jacked up, and there are jack stands underneath. This is what we need to do first. You've got two bolts here, this one and this one on the screen. I'll make appear the spanner size, or I'll tell you in the next clip. I think it's a 15, it might be a 13, but basically we're going to undo this bolt here. Hopefully you can see that. So we undo this bolt here, and sometimes you need to hold this nut, or you do need to hold this nut. So you'll have a spanner here, ratchet here, undo that. Same on the bottom bit, undo that, and that's your slider pins, and then that will remove this whole section here. Okay, so we've got a 17mm spanner here. If you've got a Halford's tool set, your 17mm spanner won't actually fit onto this nut. It's just too fat. So you can see that the Halford's spanners are way fatter than kind of a normal spanner. I guess because they're cheaper, so they make them thicker, which means they kind of last a bit longer. I don't know. But either way, you need a 17mm on here. You need a 13mm on the back. Just crack it off and then start to undo it. Best thing I ever learned, lefty loosey, righty tighty. So we're lefty loosey in it right now. That comes off. And inside here is your slider pin. So we're going to have to take this out soon, basically clean it all inside, and then recoat it with Ceratec brake grease. That's what we're going to be using. We're not going to be using copper grease. Why people use copper grease, I do not know, but that is what we're going to be using there. So we're going to do the same with the bottom one now. Once again, 17mm on here. Grab this. Cool. Now that I've broke it, I'm just going to ratchet it. Helps if I have the ratchet spin around the right way. Cool, so they're both out. Again, both side pins are free. And now in theory, this wiggles up. Now at this point you need a cable tie. So this is my cable tie that I've made. Basically what we're going to do is I'm going to get this off, so just wiggle it off like that, and then we're going to pop a cable tie through here. We're going to find a place to hang this. Not pretty, but it will do the job. Oh, so that is now hanging freely. We're all good. Okay, these are your old brake pads. So if I just aim you guys down a little bit, you'll be able to see. We're going to take out our old brake pads now. And that is how much I had left. So we were getting pretty close. So that's the outer one. So the way you can tell the outers, you've got two nipples, and basically they're going to be on the inside. I will show you the other one. And that is the other one. Probably even less material. Yeah, a little bit less on the piston side. And the piston side one, you can tell because it's got the two nipples on the outside. So the piston obviously pushes on a nice flat surface there. So that is that. Now then, we need to take this carrier off because we're obviously doing discs as well. You got two bolts on the inside, literally one here and one just there. There we go, easy peasy. Don't know if it's going to get in here though. So there are your two carrier bolts. Keep them somewhere safe. There your carrier slides off. Now then, you've got, sometimes your brakes come with new ones. I don't actually know if mine have, but these are basically your sliders. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you clean inside these sliders here. So I'm not really showing you. So inside these sliders here, clean those. And here is, you got to be gentle with these. That is your slider pin. Now you can actually see that that's actually really, really nice and clean. I'm going to wipe these off, put Ceratec on there, so I'm not going to keep them out to the elements too much. But your front sliders don't really have a problem. It's your back sliders that actually have the dirt ingress problem that a lot of people have, where basically you start to get uneven wear on your disc. You'll kind of notice like a band of corrosion happening around it. That's because of your sliders, 99% of the time. If you don't catch it too quickly, basically you'll ruin your disc and you'll need new discs as well as new sliders. Right, this should now, I can turn that back a little bit, and this should, in theory, wriggle off. And it is as simple as that. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this, but the ridge on this, you can just see that silver ridge. It is a hell of a ridge. I mean, these are very, very knackered. So, these are done. These are the old ones. We're going to break the new ones out. I'm going to clean up some stuff and I'll be back. Okay, so that's Ceratec. That's the grease you want. So this is metal-free grease. Obviously copper grease has got copper in it, and it tends to degrade rubber. So what we're going to do is basically pull that out. Now you don't want any dirt to get inside this. So we're going to clean these off as clean as we can. I think you can buy these for like 20 quid if you want new ones. I mean, that looks brand new already. You can get like a earbud or a Q-tip or whatever you want to call it, and you can use that to clean out some of the old stuff. You can see how kind of black that came out. We're going to do a tiny bit of Ceratec grease. You really don't need much. Cool, and you can pop the boot back on. Slide that into there. Cool, and that's that slider done, and you can test the slider by basically pushing it and just making sure it comes back out. And then just kind of work the grease in. It should be nice and bouncy when you do it. So we're going to do the exact same to the other one. And then we're going to wind the caliper back and put it all back together. Okay, so we're going to wind the piston back now. So we've got it hanging out. There's plenty of different wind back tools. This is kind of like a ratcheting wind back tool. But you're basically pushing this piston back in. So this one basically just ratchets. Now if you feel a bit too much resistance, you can put the brake reservoir cap off, so that way the pressure's got somewhere to go, but I mean right now this feels very, very easy. So and the piston should be completely flat, the caliper, like that. So that is the piston fully back in. So hopefully you can see the difference between what the worn pads were like and what these new ones are going to be like. I would also recommend kind of wire brushing here. So just getting all of this off just so your disc or rotor or whatever you want to call it sits completely flush with it. I apologise for lying, it's getting worse and worse. Anyway, these are the discs I'm going to be installing. So these are EBC USR discs. They're their coloured series disc, which means they don't actually come with a protected film. So you don't require brake cleaner fluid to kind of clean off the film. There's no like anything on these. Anyway, they do come left and right hand side. This is the left hand side. And basically what you're going to do is just basically locate the pins and just slide it on. It's as simple as that. Just slide it on nice and flush. And it's going to sit like that. Okay, so we're going to speed this process up a bit because it's getting pretty late now and the light is going very, very quickly. So basically what we're now going to do is locate the carrier back on. Once again, I have cleaned all of the slider pins just inside of here. Don't know if you can see this now with the lighting. But either way, this is going to slide back on. It can only go in one place. Then once again, we're going to get our bolts that we removed before. And just... Now, I wish I knew the torque specs. But basically I don't. So we're just going to kind of wing it. I have a feeling the slider pins have a torque spec of 20 to, I think it's 20 to 30 Newton meters ish, give or take 5 Newton meters each side. But these carrier bolts, I don't know what their torque specs is. So I'm just going to do them up nice and tight. Basically, is how this is going to work. So if you were looking for a professional guide, this is not a professional guide. I mean, you saw how tight they were when they came off. So do them about that tightness when you put them back on. You can see for one of them I had to use a torque wrench, so... Oh, okay, they're pretty tight. That's not coming off anytime soon. And that's not coming off anytime soon. Right. So that is them 2 carrier bolts tightened. Just going to quickly show you the pads now. So I have bought EBC blue stuff pads. So these are newly, to my knowledge, I just want to point that out, to my knowledge, I've been told by EBC official that the blue stuff pads are basically the new yellows. So these are the closest to a trackpad you can get. These are actually a trackpad that have just become approved for road use. So they've got a ton of bite, more than yellow stuff, and they're basically stronger than yellow stuff and are going to survive longer than yellow stuff pads. So that's what I've been told. I'm just going to show you the comparison between old and new, so you can kind of see, if I can do this correctly, the size difference in pads. I'm really failing right now, but hopefully you can see that. So you can see I was getting pretty low. I still had probably a good few miles left on those, but we were getting to the point where we needed to do it. So obviously this one has the nipples on the outside because the piston goes in the middle. Because what we're going to do is on these sliders just here, we're going to get a dab. So I'm going to use a clean finger for this. I mean, we're putting on like the smallest amount just onto this slider and onto this slider here. Obviously don't get it on your disc because that would be bad. We're then going to do the exact same on the other side. I'm going to use a different finger because my fingers are starting to get a bit mucky. Right, pads go back in. So this is the outside one. That goes in like that. This is the inside one. Because it's a little bit more awkward, I'm actually just going to lube them up now. So basically what I'm doing, you can't see, but it's off camera, but I'm just putting a little bit of Ceratec on, and I mean a little bit. So many people cover their brakes. I'm going to show you what I'm doing. So many people cover their brakes in so much copper grease normally. So I'm literally just going to give a small amount. This will last like ages. And all it needs is on the piston bit. That's it. Little circle like that. You don't need anything mega. I'm going to do the same on this side. Just 2 tiny little strips of grease, basically where the sliders are going to go, which is just one here, and I've got another finger ready for this one. Once again, you don't need to cover your brakes, it's just a tiny bit of grease. This grease will last until your next brake change basically. Okay, that's all you need, you don't need anything more than that. Now we're going to put the piston back on, so I'm just going to wipe my hands off. And then what we're going to do is we're going to bring that around the front. We're going to slide it in, like so. So you can see where the sliders are going to sit, and that's where I've greased. And then we're going to slide that on like so. That's now reseated, and then we're going to get the bolts. I would recommend, because they come with Loctite, I would recommend redoing Loctite onto these. It's getting very dark now, guys, so I am sorry. So tighten one quite a bit, and tighten the other one. So hopefully that gives you an idea. Now basically what you want to do is pump the pedal a few times to make sure that piston contacts those pads correctly. As I always say, oh my god, it looks like it's blooming sunny out, but it's really not, it's really dark. As I always say, thank you guys for watching. If you want some merch, there's t-shirts and stuff, as I always keep saying. T-shirts down in the description, go check them out. But thank you to EBC Official, or EBC Direct, for supplying these. Very, very, very quick delivery. So seriously, if you want EBC pads and brakes and stuff, just go onto their actual official website. There's no point buying from anyone else when you can get one-day delivery and exactly what you want from the supplier. So check them out. Free shipping as well, which is cool. I can't give you a review on these. I was going to do like a brake test, so stock and then these, but the weather's really bad. I want to get these on before I do this long trip, which I'm going to basically break the brakes in. The official way to do it for pads is 200 miles and then a few multiple, I think 60 down to 20 stops, about 5 of those or something, and then apparently your pads are broken in. For rotors, you could be looking close to 800 miles in order to break in rotors. My hair is going mental. So yeah, basically what you're looking for on your rotors is you'll want to look for even wear. The moment you're even wear, your rotors are kind of bedded in to your brakes, and then you can kind of start using them or break them in like a pad. But it could be anywhere from 200 to 800 miles, who knows. The EBC brakes do come with a braking coating, which makes it much quicker to brake in, and also kind of makes the rotor a bit happier. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, favourite and subscribe. I'm going to crack on the other side and I'll give you guys an update on these brakes in the future when I've finally done 1,000,000 miles to break them in, and by that point the pads will be worn down so much that I'll need new pads and the cycle continues. Remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below what you think of EBC, what pads do you use, let me know. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.